So, NVIDIA just dropped an earnings report that basically blew the doors off the tech world, and we are going to dig into it. The numbers for Q3 of their fiscal year 2026, they're not just big, they're almost unbelievable. They're changing the game for what we thought was possible for one company in just 3 months. So today, let's break down exactly what happened, why it's happening, and what it tells us about the future of AI.
All right, let's just get right to it. The headline number that has everyone's jaw on the floor. $57 billion. That's the revenue for just 1 quarter. To put that into perspective, that's bigger than the entire annual economic output of a lot of countries. It's just a staggering number.
And here's what's maybe even crazier than the raw number itself, the speed. That 57 billion, that's a 62% jump from this same time last year. You just don't see this kind of explosive growth from a company that was already a behemoth. It's not just growing, it's accelerating like a rocket. So where is all this money, this tsunami of cash, coming from? Well, the answer is crystal clear, the data center. Out of that total 57 billion, more than 51 billion came from this single division. This, right here, is the engine of the entire NVIDIA story right now.
This is probably the single best way to think about what NVIDIA is doing right now. You hear a lot about an AI gold rush and people selling the picks and shovels. But it's so much bigger than that. This is an industrial revolution. And NVIDIA isn't just selling the tools, they are building and selling the actual factories where all of this AI is being created.
So, let's pull back the curtain on that $51 billion number. How does one part of a company become so dominant, so incredibly fast? Let's take a look under the hood at the engine driving all of this. NVIDIA's CEO, Jensen Huang, explains it with this idea of a virtuous cycle. And it's actually pretty simple when you break it down. The better and more powerful AI models get, the more powerful chips they need to run. And as those new powerful chips create brand new possibilities, well, the demand for even more powerful chips just skyrockets. It's a feedback loop that's spinning faster and faster. In this chart, this shows you exactly what that cycle looks like in cold, hard cash. Just a year ago, data center revenue was already a massive $30 billion, and today, over $51 billion, a 66% jump in just 12 months. That's the virtuous cycle in action. And look, NVIDIA isn't doing this in a vacuum. This growth is being fueled by an entire ecosystem, a who's who of tech titans who are all building their AI future on NVIDIA's hardware. We're talking OpenAI, Google, Meta, Microsoft. The biggest players in the world are all lining up. So what are they all buying? The star of the show right now is the Blackwell platform. This is NVIDIA's newest, most powerful architecture. Demand for these chips is just through the roof. It's quickly becoming the default, the standard, for all these major customers, and it's what's really driving these record-breaking sales. But here's the thing. As absolutely mind-blowing as the data center story is, it's not the whole story. To really get why NVIDIA is so strong, you gotta look at the entire company. There's a really powerful foundation sitting underneath all these crazy AI headlines. And this chart just puts it all into perspective, right? Look at that massive slice for data center. It's just dominant. But take a look at the other pieces. Gaming is still a business that brings in over $4 billion a quarter, and you've still got professional visualization and automotive chipping in a big way. And these aren't just little side hustles either. Gaming, that's NVIDIA's DNA, right? It's still a powerhouse. Professional visualization, which is so important for creatives and scientists, that grew 56% year over year. And their automotive business, which is powering the push for self-driving cars, that's up 32%. So you're seeing really healthy growth across the board. All right, so we've seen these massive revenue numbers. The top line looks incredible, but what about the bottom line? You can have huge sales and still not be a healthy company. So let's check the financial vitals. Okay, first, a super quick accounting thing. Don't worry, this will be fast. You'll see these terms GAAP and non-GAAP. GAAP is the official, by-the-book way of doing things. Non-GAAP is, well, it's a more customized view that shows how the core business is doing day to day. We're going to focus on the non-GAAP numbers, because that's how NVIDIA really looks at its own performance. Now this number, $22.1 billion, this is free cash flow. And this is a huge deal. Think of it like this. After you've paid all your bills for the month, your mortgage, your car, your groceries, everything, this is the cash you have left over in your bank account. For NVIDIA, that was over $22 billion in just 3 months. That's pure financial firepower.
So this table kind of ties it all together beautifully. That insane 62% revenue growth we talked about, it is flowing straight to the bottom line. Look at that. Operating income also up 62%, and net income, the final profit, almost $32 billion. So the takeaway is clear. NVIDIA isn't just growing, it's wildly, incredibly profitable.
Okay, so, historic quarter in the books. But you know how this industry works. Nobody cares about yesterday. It's all about what's next. So let's turn to what the company itself is saying about the future.
I mean, after a quarter like this, it's the only question that matters, right? Can they possibly keep this up, or have we just witnessed the peak of the mountain?
Well, if you ask NVIDIA, they're just getting started. Take a look at their own forecast for the next quarter. They're guiding for around $65 billion in revenue. That's another $8 billion leap on top of this already mind-boggling quarter. They're not seeing a slowdown, they're seeing an acceleration.
And why are they so confident? Because the market they're playing in is just unimaginably huge. The company is talking about a future where the annual market for AI infrastructure could be $3 to $4 trillion, with a T. If they're even in the right ballpark, then what we're seeing right now is just the very beginning.
So the picture is pretty clear. NVIDIA is at the absolute epicenter of a technological revolution, and its growth is just shattering every record in the book. But, and there's always a but in the world of technology, dominance is never guaranteed. Which leaves us with the one big question we should all be thinking about. NVIDIA looks completely unstoppable today, but what's the next big challenge waiting just over the horizon? What's the one thing that could potentially derail this AI juggernaut?